Tonight, after escaping for the sunshine, the Londoners caught out by the new COVID quarantine rules. Also, can we infect our pets? The first cat to have contracted the virus in the UK. Plus, good evening. When the government announced travel corridors to allow people abroad for some summer sun, it was always with the caveat that they might have to change those rules. While on Saturday, Spain was removed from the list of safe places to travel with just hours' notice after a surge in coronavirus cases on the Spanish mainland. It left thousands of Londoners facing 2 weeks quarantine and the chaos to personal lives and finances that comes with that. Our political correspondent Simon Harris reports. Well, for more information on what some of the major airlines and travel firms are offering their customers, just head online to ITV London. Simon joins me now in the studio. So, Simon, in more COVID-related news, there was an unusual case reported here today, wasn't there?
Yes, scientists in Surrey think they're diagnosed. Now, it's thought the cat caught the illness from the owners, not the other way round.
Thank you. Well, imposing lockdown earlier could have saved the lives of London bus drivers, according to a report from UCL. Now, as the pressure on London hospitals eases after the peak of coronavirus, the focus turns to the lasting effect of that pressure put on those who've worked throughout the pandemic. Barts Charity, which supports the hospitals of the Barts NHS Trust, has announced £3 million of support for mental health care for their staff. Part of that money will be spent on clinical psychologists stationed in the hospital. The aim, to make sure that in the weeks, months and years to come, they look after those who gave everything to care for us. Carolyn Sim reports. A host of high-profile names, including actors, musicians and politicians, are taking part in a 48-hour boycott of Twitter over its response to anti-Semitic tweets by the London grime artist Wiley. It's a Twitter 48-hour walkout started at 9 this morning. It's being led by London actor Tracy Ann Oberman, who joins me now. Tracy Ann, thank you so much for talking to me. This evening, the PM, the Home Secretary, the Chief Rabbi, thousands more all say that Twitter did nothing for too long. What do you want to see happening? I mean, they're just some of the things that were mentioned in those posts from Wiley, and very distressing for people reading them. And, you know, we don't even want to repeat some of the vile comments that were made. The Chief Rabbi, let's go back to what he says, inaction amounts to complicity. Now, we here at ITV News have been trying to elicit some kind of statement from Twitter specifically about this, and we haven't managed to so far. Have you heard anything from them? Of course, but do you think that anti-Semitic posts or anti-Semitic comments, you know, just aren't treated in the same way or taken as seriously as other forms of hate speech and racism? And Wiley is those posts are being investigated by the Met Police, and he is suspended from his account now for a week. But thank you very much for talking to me tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next tonight, the building contractor for the refurbishment of the Grenfell Tower swapped the insulation during the renovation without telling anyone else, the inquiry heard. Site manager David Hughes was giving evidence. He said he was given 1 day's notice to start work on the site in West London and admitted he didn't know all the fire regulations for a tower block. Rags Martell was listening to today's evidence. Next tonight, Boris Johnson today admitted he was too fat when he was taken to hospital with COVID-19. The Prime Minister has launched the government's new drive to tackle obesity. There'll be bans on junk food adverts and buy one, get one free deals, plus more help from your doctor to lose weight. Well, in the me now is Dr. Louise Irvine, a GP in Lewisham, where 59% of adults and 37% of children are obese. Dr. Irvine, thank you so much for joining me. I mean, those stats are pretty shocking, aren't they? And you've been a GP in Lewisham for 30 years now. I mean, over that time, you must have seen a rise in cases of obesity before your very eyes. COVID has obviously, you know, renewed the spotlight on the problem of obesity, but we've been talking about it for many, many years now, haven't we? And what the government wants is they want doctors to do more. I mean, as you say, at your GP surgery, is that really a viable option? How much more could interrupt? But, you know, there are some concerns from some quarters as well that, you know, we've got to be really careful about how we talk to people who are overweight, because there is a very, you know, there's a fine line between educating people and fat shaming, which is not going to have the desired effect at all, is it?
Absolutely.
The Liberal Democrat candidate for mayor has become the second to drop out of the race. In the unlikely location of an empty unit at Westfield in Stratford, there is a new centre that could save lives. It's a place for those who have recovered from coronavirus to go and donate their blood plasma, which can then be used to help other patients in their recovery. It is a treatment first used on Anne Kitchen, who was there to open the centre this morning. Helen Keenan reports. Sally is here to talk weather now. Sally, OK, so I left the home this morning and it didn't feel like we're nearly in August. My umbrella's completely totaled. I know.
Well, the wind was whipping through. We got some pretty good gusts today. I know. I looked out of my box. There's good news. It is going to warm up this week, so it's quite steady for a bit, and then by the time.
And finally, when a Mr. W. Davies set up Clapton FC, there were no cars on the road, no radios, certainly no TV news. That was more than 140 years ago. The club has survived through world wars and pandemics. And today, London's oldest football ground is starting a new chapter. The members and supporters who own the club have finally been able to buy their ground, the Old Spotted Dog. Emma Walden reports. And that's it. We are back with the latest after ITV News at 10. Coming up, Mary with the ITV Evening News. But from me and the rest of the London team, bye-bye.